Hello and good morning. It's Phil Thatch, and today I'm at the Hiawassee Wildlife Refuge, which closes. You can't go down inside of it on November 15th and throughout the winter. And today is November 9th. I'm on vacation. I lose track of dates, but it's 8th or 9th, maybe 10th, somewhere right through there. So I can go down inside, and it's one of the last times to go down inside. So I'm going to wander around today with my brand new Canon R7. You may recall that 2 or 3 videos ago, I fell down while doing landscape photography and knocked my tripod over, and my R7 fell into a creek. But thanks to the folks at Murphy's Camera in Kentucky, 2 days later, I have a new camera. So I'm going to go use that thing if I can find some birds. Looking down at the water area, I don't see any water birds out there, so I think I'm going to look for small birds of some sort, songbirds. The UPS driver dropped off my camera the day before, and I quickly went through all the menus and got everything set up like I liked. And then I went outside and made this beautiful tufted titmouse photograph on the top of the house. Now let's rejoin the next day at the Hiawassee Wildlife Refuge. Well, I am in the refuge now, and at where the road splits, I'm heading to the left, which goes towards the Tennessee River. If you go towards the right, at the split, it goes towards the Hiawassee River. And I've learned that there's some folks hunting right down there, which is why I went to the left. I really probably wanted to go to the right. But hopefully I will find something and get close enough to it to make a photograph. I'm still wandering around out here, and I'm seeing a lot of birds, but not able to photograph too many. The most interesting bird probably that I've seen is a northern flicker, and it was way in the canopy. But another thing that's happening a lot is blue jays are flying by across this huge vista, and I've made a couple of blue jay in-flight shots, which was not something I thought I would ever make. But let's start with that. This is probably my favorite shot in terms of the angle that the bird's flying across and wing position. And the next shot I'm going to show you is probably the sharpest one of all of the shots. I made shots of 2 different passes, and these are the best ones of those. I should have brought a teleconverter, or maybe the 800, or maybe the 800 and a teleconverter. I've gotten down here to the water's edge, and there's some interesting ducks here, including a male hooded merganser, which is my favorite duck, but it is way out there. And I think I saw a blue-winged teal as well. I got photos of both of them, but they are going to be microscopic in the frame. I gave up on the ducks. I think even if I had the 800 and a teleconverter, I wouldn't have enough focal length. And then I stepped back away from the water just a little bit and got the best picture of the day, and it's a mockingbird. Here is a beautiful example of a northern mockingbird. This is the state bird of Tennessee, and I was still at 1/1600th of a second, which is great to freeze the action of even a perched bird, and it had great light on it, I thought, in this shot. I kind of started heading back to the car, and I was walking along with this field to my right and the water even further to my right, and I saw a large bird kind of flying in, and I thought, oh man, it's probably a turkey vulture. And then I got to watching it a little more, and it wasn't doing the turkey vulture wobble. So I said, you know what, I'm going to take pictures of this thing. And it was a juvenile bald eagle. So that made the whole trip worthwhile right there, just the bald eagle shot. This is probably a 2nd or 3rd year bald eagle. The first year they're all brown, and then in the 4th year they start to get the white head and white tail, and then in the 5th year they completely have the white head and tail. Another large bird started flying in, and I got excited thinking it was the bald eagle coming back, but it was a great blue heron. I'm a little bit spoiled because it's so easy to get great blue heron photographs at the Chickamauga Dam, which I live really near, but it was nice to see this great blue heron at a location besides the Chickamauga Dam. I'm still making my way back to the car. It's kind of a long hike down to the water from where you park, and as I walked along, I spotted and I think photographed a male ruby-crowned kinglet. So that's pretty cool. I think this may be the first time I've gotten photographs of a ruby-crowned kinglet with its red feathers poking up on the top of its head. And It was just there for a moment, and when I got it in the frame, I was shooting 15 frames per second, and I just fired and held the button down, and it flew off before I even filled the buffer, which doesn't take very long on the R7. The shot was heavily backlit, or the shots were heavily backlit, and I like the way that almost makes the red feathers on its head look like they are on fire. I love this cute little bird, the male ruby-crowned kinglet. I found and photographed another bird during my hike back to the car. I think it's a hermit thrush, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll give you a positive ID when I show you the picture. I think the picture came out fairly good. I believe it is a hermit thrush, and it turned out really nice and sharp, kind of beautiful, a busy background, but the background tells the story of the hermit thrush, and I was really happy with the way this photograph turned out. Yesterday, while I was waiting for my replacement R7 to come in because I destroyed it by dropping it in a creek, I did some bird photography with my old favorite combination from a few years back, the Nikon D500 and their 200 to 500 f5.6 lens, and I swore by that combination for a long time, but I gotta tell you, I'm so happy to be back shooting with the 100 to 500 Canon lens and the R7. It's just night and day. There's a lot of differences. This combination is substantially lighter, so it's much easier to walk around with. I've taken the tripod foot off, which is not even, I don't believe, an option on the 200 to 500 Nikon lens. And it's super light. It's a little more expensive. I'll put the prices on the screen now. So right now I'm putting the price of the combination of a D500 and a 200 to 500 lens on the screen. I don't think you can even buy the D500 anymore, but it was $19.99. So the price on the screen now is that. And then now I'm going to put the price on the screen for this combination. The camera is cheaper. The camera is only $14.99. The lens is substantially more expensive at, I think, $28.99. But the combination, because the camera is a little cheaper, is not that much more expensive. I'll put the price difference, how much more you have to spend for this combination, on the screen now. But the full frame equivalent is 800 millimeters instead of 750 millimeters, and the autofocus is better. The shutter speed is faster. It's quieter. It's just better in every way. But it's camera and lens that was designed several years later, so things advance. And even though it's a little bit more expensive, I think if you are still shooting the excellent combination of the D500 and the 200 to 500, it might be worthwhile, especially if your camera's getting a little long in the tooth. It might be worthwhile to sell those and upgrade to this. Okay, I've had a pretty good time here at the Hiawassee Wildlife Refuge. I'm sure I will come back later on when the sandhill cranes are here. Of course, then it'll be closed off and you have to do all your shooting from this gazebo behind me instead of going down in it like I did today. Right now, I think I'm going to head on to another location. I've come now to a different location kind of nearby the Hiawassee Wildlife Refuge. This is the east side of the Tennessee River, Blythe Ferry Landing. A lot of times I shoot on the west side, but I came to the east side because this side of the river is known to me to be a place where this time of year you can find winter wren. And sure enough, I did find a wren, but it's just a Carolina wren. So I made a really backlit Carolina wren shot. I had to adjust my exposure compensation to +2 stops to bag this shot. This is not the heavily backlit shot that I talked about in the video clip. I ended up not liking that shot enough to share with you, but this one is a slightly backlit shot, and I really like the way this one turned out. I hope you enjoy it as well. Well, I think that's going to do it for me today here at the eastern ramp of Blythe's Ferry. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, a thumbs up would be greatly appreciated. And I'd love it if you considered subscribing, maybe hit the notification bell. And as always, I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.